everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my February wrap up. I can't believe February is over already and it's March. That's just crazy. That's insane. I will say, in terms of quality of books wise, I had a better reading month in February than I did in January. In February, I read 11 books, 4,524 pages. My average rating was 4.18. And yeah, let's just get into the books that I read in February. The first book I read in February is I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman. You're probably done hearing about this book. Everybody and their mother has already read it or wants to read it. This follows our unnamed narrator and the 39 other women that she is trapped underground with. They don't know how they got there. They don't know why they're there. They're just in a cage with each other. Our unnamed narrator has been there since she was a child, while the other women in the bunker are kind of older and they have some semblance of memory left. It's not good, but they have some semblance of their memory from their past life left. She does not remember anything before she got to the bunker and she doesn't even have a name. This was definitely a very interesting read. I gave it 4 stars. While I do think it kind of lulled in pace in the middle, I really enjoyed this. I think it was truthfully a beautiful story about trying to find humanity when there is no reason to have that humanity. I really liked it. I will say I was left with questions at the end of the book, but I think the reason we were left with questions was a good one, and I really liked that we were left with questions. And I don't know how to explain why, because you would just have to read the book. So yeah, 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. The next book I read was Can't Get Enough by Kennedy Ryan. This is the last installment of the Skyland series by her. I really enjoyed this book. This was my first 5-star, and in fact my only new 5-star of the month. The rest of the other 5 stars I had were rereads. This was the only new 5-star read of the month. I loved it. Again, this is book 3 in the Skyland series. The first book followed Yasmin, the second book followed Soledad, and then this book follows Hendrix. She's dealing with a lot. She is a businesswoman. She is working so hard to be successful, and she's also dealing with her mother who has Alzheimer's. She's dealing with having to care for her and also coming to the terms of her mom's diagnosis. I thought this was really beautiful and I really liked her love interest. I feel like a lot of the times in romance books, the authors will build the female characters up to be just amazing, strong-headed, beautiful, talented, successful individuals, and then their love interest will be just this loser. This did not happen in this book. She was put with somebody of her caliber and I really appreciated it. I've talked about Kennedy Ryan on this channel a lot. I think she's just an excellent writer. I think she writes emotion like no other, and this was a beautiful read. And I think it was a wonderful end to the Skyland series. As much as I didn't want this series to end, I'm really glad that it wrapped up the way that it did. Yeah, I definitely recommend this series. It is really good. The next book I read was Pride and Prejudice. I had never finished this book and I wanted to. I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. It's a classic. Everybody knows the plot. I read this because I had just watched the first part of Bridgerton season 4 and I was really wanting to be in a Regency era book, and I think that this filled that void. I really enjoyed this. This has beautiful commentary on class and women and marriage of this time, and I think there are lessons in here to be learned that we can still use to this day. The next book I read, the first and only flop of the month, was The Duke and I by Julia Quinn. I gave this 2 stars. Do not recommend it. If you are a fan of the show and you're like, I want to read The Duke and I, this is kind of a waste of time. I truly believe that the show is so much better. I don't even really like season 1, but I was offended on behalf of season 1. And now I'm worried because I want to read The Viscount Who Loved Me. However, season 2 is my favorite season and I feel like nothing can live up to that, even the original source material. There are a couple things that were really bad in this book. First of all, you can tell that she stopped editing halfway through. I don't know what's going on with that, but the language and how it's written in the first half is way different than the second half. Also, what happens between the Duke and Daphne assaulting the Duke, never really addressed or handled or reprimanded, really. I also don't like how Daphne really did not know anything sex-wise. I truly feel like that was ridiculous and not good. This book is really a mess. Okay, the next book I read, thank God I read this after it and it picked my spirits back up. I did a reread of The Favorites. I know I said in my February TBR video that I wasn't gonna reread The Favorites, however, I got really into following Ice Dance this year because I think last year's season ended around the time that I read this book. So I was into Ice Dance this year, and so obviously I watched it at the Olympics. That combined with all the hubbub about the Wuthering Heights movie, I needed to do a reread. I needed to get it out of my system because I just could not stop thinking about this book. This is a 5-star read for me. It was my favorite book of last year. This follows an ice dancer couple. This book is a Wuthering Heights retelling of sorts. It follows an ice dancer couple and through all their drama and everything that comes with being professional ice dancers and Olympic ice dancers, and also their romantic relationship and the story of obsession. I think I loved it and appreciated it even more on the reread. Really enjoyed this. I think the ending of that book is kind of polarizing, but I liked it. I remember reading it first through and I really liked Wuthering Heights, so there were some plot points that like I could predict, but I liked it because of the Wuthering Heights of it all. The next book I read was No Ordinary Love by Maya Ariel. I read this for the Swoony Stories Goodreads challenge. I will say I wish I read this at a different time because when I read it, I don't think I was like in the mood for romance. It was really good though. I gave it a 3.75. It follows Ella and Miles. Ella is this pop star. She's a very big music artist and she's getting a divorce from her music producer. Her music producer is a piece of shit, horrible man. She married him when he was 30 and she was like 20. Anyway, she's getting this divorce and she does this music video with Miles, who's a professional baseball player, and you follow kind of their love story of them meeting and falling in love and both of them being hesitant because of their pasts. I really enjoyed this. I really thought this was like tender. I thought it was a good book. I just, while I was reading it, was just not in the mood for romance, and that unfortunately affected my enjoyment of it. I think if I reread this while I'm like really in the mood for romance, I'll really love it because this was really good. I just don't think I can put my finger on like one certain thing that made me not enjoy it as much, other than the fact that I just was not in the mood for romance. The next book I read was Intermezzo by Sally Rooney. I love normal people, so I was really excited to pick this up and I really enjoyed it. This is like a lit fit contemporary book. It follows Peter and Ivan and their brothers, and they're basically like, they're very different from each other and they have a rather large age gap. This follows them in the wake of their father's death and how they're dealing with that and the things that they're going through in their lives. What's going on just like in their personal lives and their love lives and the way that they're growing as a person and adapting to their dad being dead and adapting to only having each other left. This truly was depressing, but it was really good. I gave it a 4.5. It wasn't quite a 5-star for me, but I really enjoyed it. Sally Rooney knows how to write insufferable, horrible characters that you also are feeling sorry for and relating to. Like, these characters definitely feel like real people, and I loved that. I loved this book. The last 4 books I read are all part of the same series, so I figured I'd talk about them all together. This month I started a reread of the Shadowhunters Chronicles. I'm going to be reading it in publication order. So I read the first 3 books of the Mortal Instruments series: City of Bones, City of Ashes, and City of Glass. City of Bones I gave 4 stars, City of Ashes I gave 4 stars, and City of Glass I gave 5 stars. I enjoyed the series a lot more going back into it. I figured since I read it at 16 I wouldn't enjoy it as much, but I feel like I liked it a lot more on the reread. Yes, this is a series with the siblings plot. No, I do not like the siblings plot. Push past it. Everybody knows they aren't actually siblings. I really enjoyed like the conflict of what was going on within this fantasy world. It was really fun. And then after I finished City of Glass, I reread Clockwork Angel. I finished this yesterday. The Infernal Devices is one of my favorite series of all time. I reread this last year as well. It was just so nice to be back in this world with these characters. This is a prequel series to Mortal Instruments, so this takes place in Victorian England, whereas the Mortal Instruments takes place in like 2008 New York. I really love this book. I can't wait to continue on with the series in my reread. So those were all of the books that I read in March. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!